So this is the video where I talk about having COVID-19. If you know me at all in real life, you probably know that I have been one of the most outspoken people about people wearing masks and taking this pandemic seriously, and the fact that I have had COVID is just, I don't know, it's kind of a lot to process. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of feels ironic that I got it, so that's why I feel it's important to talk about my personal symptoms and things to be aware of, and also just nail in the head that you should be wearing your masks and being pandemic safe, because it's a global pandemic. Even though there are some countries that have everything in control, you should still be staying safe. So yeah, I think it's important to note that your symptoms might not be the same as mine. 3 out of 4 people in this house tested positive, and we all had different experiences with it. So at least this will give anyone who has tested positive an idea of what to expect, or maybe just give peace of mind for anyone who may think they have COVID, but maybe they don't. I think it's just important to talk about. So in this video, I'm going to specifically talk about the 2 days that I felt symptoms before testing positive, and then all of my symptoms after testing positive. I'll also touch in on this last week, how I've been feeling. I didn't take any vigorous notes this past week, but just to give you an idea of what my recovery has looked like and what my recovery will be in the future. Let's get into what went down. Listen, I don't know, acting weird is something that makes me feel better, okay? Okie dokie. So my possible exposure date, I think was maybe around the 17th or the 18th of January, so a Sunday and a Monday. Yes, it's hard to say which day it could have been, but I started feeling symptoms about 3 to 4 days later after that exposure. So my symptoms started popping up on the 21st of January, which was a Thursday. And I had, I want to say maybe 4 symptoms. The first one, that was probably the most prevalent one, was a fever. I would say the fever had to have been about 101, maybe higher. I had unreliable thermometers throughout this time, so I'm not sure exactly where it was at, but I definitely would say it was about 101. Could have been 102. I don't know. I had a sore throat, which I was pretty much in denial about because I drank a lot of water in these 2 days that I started having symptoms, and I also had some cough drops, and I would say to myself, oh, I don't have a sore throat if I have water or cough drops or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I also had a slightly runny nose. It wasn't really like the biggest thing that I felt, but I was, blowing my nose just a little bit, but every time that I ever blew my nose, I would wash my hands very quickly. And the 4th one, I also had chills, a little bit though. And the only reason, like I say, a little bit, was in like notes in the next few days, I talk about having had chills. For some reason, I just didn't take those notes down. I don't know. On the 21st, I scheduled a COVID test for the next day, and I was still feeling all of these symptoms on Friday, January 22nd. I think something to mention that these 2 days was I started feeling the symptoms more later in the day. So around maybe like 11 a.m. to noon. And with that, I work earlier in the morning. So sometimes my shifts are about like 6:30 to noon, or 7 to 11, something like that. So I happen to go to work both of those 2 days. Was that the smartest idea? No, but I double masked on Friday the 22nd just in case. Like, I was really careful about anything that I ate. Like, I would pretty much take the mask off, take a bite of something, put it right back on, and really had any sort of alcohol in my area, just like spraying it down just in case it were to be something more serious. So listen, capitalism has me in its grips, okay? And I truly didn't think that this was going to be COVID, which is like one of the reasons why I still went to work. And also because in June of 2020, I had these same symptoms and I took a test and it came out negative. So I was in complete denial that this could have been COVID. Was I going through my stages of grief before I even knew I had COVID? Yes. If you are feeling any sort of sick, call in to work. Do not go into work. That's probably my biggest takeaway from anything now. If there is a job that makes you feel bad for calling in or making you try to find someone to cover your shift, that's not a job you want to stay at, because for where we are now in this pandemic, I think it's more important that if anyone has any sort of symptom of anything, that they should stay home and your work just has to figure it out. Do not feel bad if you ever have to call into work, because lives are on the line now. I know we have the vaccine rolling out now. It'll become hopefully more accessible to a lot of people in the coming months. But until then, just don't even risk it. Thankfully, at my work, there have not been any other COVID positive coworkers of mine, at least after me so far. So that's at least a really good thing. But that's not the case everywhere.
Hi, enjoy this picture of Baby Yoda while I talk about this, because the text feature on this is just wild. Anyways, as of February 8th, which is a Monday, I have not heard of any other positive COVID tests at my work. So I think we're all in the clear, but what I did doesn't justify, like going into work while you're sick. That's bad. Don't do that. Anywho, on to the rest of the video. 3, 2, 1, sure.
Anywho, let's get on to the other symptoms. Saturday, January 23rd, that was the day that I found out I was positive for COVID. My fever broke that day. I was riding along maybe like 99 and just a little bit higher. I don't think I ever hit 100 that day, but I could have. Again, I had another slightly runny nose. It really wasn't that bad at this point. This is the day where I first mentioned that chills were close to non-existent, which prompted me to realize I had those symptoms previously before I tested positive. And I also still had a sense of taste and a sense of smell at this point. Sunday, January 24th, I started to feel a little nauseous this day, but it would only last for about 30 to 45 minutes. I also wasn't eating the best this day. The only COVID negative person in our house went out to get McDonald's. So I had a double quarter pounder with cheese, which is one of my favorite things to get from McDonald's. So it definitely, like, the nausea was brought on by both food and the fact that I had COVID. This was also the day that I started to lose taste. Now, this was really interesting. And here's a quote from my notes. Some areas of my tongue would taste more than others and then disappear. which was super weird. I remember I would be able to take a bite of something, first bite of my double quarter pounder, chew it a little bit, and then after I swallowed it, the taste was gone. I would take another bite and I would not taste anything. I don't know, it was really weird. This was also the point where I realized that all of my sweet taste was gone. I could only taste anything that was savory, which I'm not much of a sweet person, so I definitely was happy to still have some savory taste. Throughout this whole thing, I could not tell if my smell was gone because I had congestion that intensely. Let's honestly assume that I did, though. Monday, January 25th, I started having headaches and migraines, which I was not expecting. I'm not someone who usually gets migraines. I can only say, like, before COVID, I maybe had 2 in my lifetime. And that was just under like immense stress. I was also really dehydrated this day, even though I had a lot of water, Gatorade. We also got these like hydration powder packs to put in water for extra hydration. My migraine definitely became a thing throughout this whole week. Sometimes I would have it, sometimes I wouldn't. Like, it would kind of switch days. Tuesday the 26th, I started feeling aches in the morning.
Baby Yoda me here again, and I just want to talk about these aches really quickly because I really don't go that much in depth on them. This ache was mostly just a lower back pain. I can't remember if I felt any other kinds of aches, but I just remembered that being the most prevalent. That back pain probably lasted for about until the time that my symptoms were done. And I'm pretty sure it was because I was just laying down a lot. So what I would do to relieve that is put like a sleeping pillow underneath the smallest part of my back for sleeping, and then I just slept with another pillow on my head. Usually that was pretty good at just relieving that back pain, but I don't think that was like COVID related at all. Just me laying down for far too long. Okie dokie, yay, back to the video.
I started to have a very runny nose at this point. And I would feel lightheaded from standing too long because probably at that point, it would have been like 3 days since I'd actually like fully gotten out of bed. Wednesday, January 27th, I had a lot of congestion in my nose. There was like a lot of mucus and phlegm coming up and out, so I was trying to get that out as much as possible. Again, I had lightheadedness this day, and then I had my severe migraine, which was very specific. It was right here. And I don't know what that attributes to, if I was maybe just staring at screens a little too much. I was trying to take ibuprofen to relieve it. It didn't really work. So Thursday, January 28th, which is 1 week since having symptoms, I, once again, lightheaded. I had this burning in the sinuses. It would only come in a blast every so often. It would only last for like 3 to 5 seconds too, but it was like a little intense. I also started to feel more savory tastes again. I would get it on the tip of my tongue and then the left side of my tongue, nowhere else. So very weird. Friday the 29th, I had a little bit of a taste again, probably just savory things. I don't specify which tastes. And then I had my migraines again. A lot of, towards the end of the notes, I have less and less notes for whatever reason. Saturday, January 30th, which was 1 week since the positive test result, we're having more mucus and phlegm coming up. I was winded after being in the shower. So on Sunday, January 31st, I would say my taste was about 80% back fully. Like, I would taste things, but it was a little dulled. I had like a little bit of dizziness, but it was nothing too terrible. And then this is when the notes kind of end up being done. I will say that I did go back into work the next day. Honestly, I probably shouldn't have, because I was really feeling the exhaustion at this point.
Okay, hopefully this is the last Baby Yoda version of me that you will have to see, but I just wanted to quick talk about going back to work that Monday, February 1st. So when HR at my work, like at the corporate offices, called me and talked to me about having my positive test, they said that was the day that I could come back, which would have been 10 days since my symptoms started. Or after 10 days, my symptoms started. 21st to January 31st, would have had symptoms, come back the 1st. And I don't remember if the CDC guidelines has it as 10 days for quarantining from work now, but I think if that is true, I think that was not the case for me. I really should have stayed home for a little bit longer and not come back so fast. I was really exhausted that day. My eyes were so droopy. And I just, in my experience of that, maybe someone can bounce back faster than that. I could not. So yeah, I feel like the CDC said it was 14 days at one point, then they changed it to 10. I don't remember. Once again, don't quote me on that. That's just my experience of that. Okay, back to actual me.
But throughout this week, I had Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday off, so I had some more days to kind of recoup and just get my body ready for going back fully into work. So it's about an hour or so, give or take, since I first started filming that. I had to take a break because I got winded while speaking, and I was just sitting here and talking. So I guess it's a good segue into talking about how I am going to recover from this and everything, because I would guess that I am 90% healed. I don't have any symptoms, haven't had them for quite a few days now, but I am going to be like this for a while. And if theater were a thing right now, I don't think I could make it through a show. I am really nervous about my future in theater because I do not have the lung capacity I once did. I'm not even speaking at full voice. I haven't spoken at full voice in a while, and if I have, I actually cut off mid-sentence because I run out of breath. Hi, I'm just giving you the example of how I go out of breath when speaking at full voice. I think I'm just gonna recite Twinkle Twinkle Little Star because whatever. Twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder where you are. It's so weird. I don't want to get too into the emotional and mental state of this, so I'm gonna cease talking about this part and talk about what to keep in mind if you do get COVID. As I said at the start of the video, my symptoms will not be the same as yours. You may be asymptomatic. It's hard to say, but if we're more open about what our symptoms are, maybe something can be narrowed down. I honestly thought I would have COVID if I lost my sense of taste or smell right away. But that's not the case. If you do get COVID, really take care of yourself. Really, like mentally, physically, emotionally, because it does take a toll on you. You know, just I don't know what else to like say than just be so careful. A lot of places are recommending people double mask right now. I highly would suggest double masking. My recommendation for double masking is to wear a, the disposable masks underneath the regular cloth mask, which I don't have one right next to me, but you know what I'm talking about. That's probably going to be the easiest way for you to breathe, I guess. It's not ideal to double mask, but it's probably the best way to keep yourself safe. I don't know. I think I'll leave it at that. Have a good day wherever you're at. If you have any questions, also let me know. Because if anyone needs further in-depth explanation on anything, I'd be more than happy to give it. So what the heck is this? Okay,